Hello everyone, my name is Megan Woodard and I'm going to present to you my automatic brine shrimp feeder. In the lower left corner you can see my home aquarium. In the top black you can see brine shrimp, which are very small shrimp that fish eat. On the upper left hand corner you can see a brine shrimp hatchery that is already on the market, and then on the right you can see a pelleted automatic feeder with some goldfish in it. Now, why would you want to feed your fish brine shrimp? Well, live bait is the gold standard for food. Not only does the live bait leverage the fish's natural predation behavior, it also doesn't contaminate the water as it doesn't decompose like pre-processed foods do. There's also a growing market for it as millennials and Gen Zers have more disposable income and time to spend on their hobbies and pets. They want to provide better fish care. They also have a busy lifestyle and they don't necessarily have time to sit around and hatch brine shrimp eggs. So there is also an increase in automation for the aquarium hobby as well as other pet care areas. So a way to automate live brine shrimp feedings is the next best thing. The first thing I did to determine the needs was that I used the be the user technique and the like dislike technique, in which I came up with a list of my needs and then I compared that to a list of needs for Amazon reviews for similar products like the automatic fish feeder and the brine shrimp hatchery, and then I ranked the number of mentions to prioritize what the top need was, which is it should be reliable. Next, what do the brine shrimp need? Well, first they need treated water, so you can just use tap water, add some dechlorinator and salt, and they need dissolved oxygen in the water. Of course, you need the eggs, you need light, and then you need time. So in this brine shrimp hatchery, you can see that there is water already added to the There is water already added to the hatchery, and you can see a little bubbler. Once the brine shrimp hatch, that's this orange stuff down here, you can see that they are going to swim towards the bottom. Usually someone places a light because they are attracted to light, and then all of the eggs stay floating up top. And so then you can open a valve, and that's how you isolate the brine shrimp from the contaminated water. And then there are the brine shrimp. I then made a functional diagram to see what components I might need. And then I created a morphology matrix in which I created different needs and then solutions. So for example, I need to add oxygen to the water. I could do this with an air stone, simple surface gas diffusion, and then an agitator. Then chose one solution for each function, and then I came up with 15 creative alternatives, and I ranked their creativity score. I narrowed down all of these alternatives using a Pew matrix in which I came up with this design. So here, lastly, I used a design structure matrix to cluster my components, and you can see some of these smaller clusters. I ended up making bigger clusters at the end. So this is my final design, and I want to focus on this grow out tank here. This is the main component. This is going to sit on top of the fish tank such that when the brine shrimp are ready, they can just fall right into the fish tank. But first, let's start with the water, the first ingredient. The water tanks, the wastewater storage and the freshwater storage will sit side by side. You can see over here on the right side there is a freshwater pump that pumps the freshwater against gravity all the way up to the grow out tank. And once the grow out tank is filled with fresh water, we can add the eggs. This is a pill box like rotary device. You fill each one of these compartments with eggs, and then it rotates around the stationary disc with a hole in it, and once it goes over the hole, then the brine shrimp will go into the tank. Once they go into the tank, you can see all of these eggs are floating here. The brine shrimp will hatch and they will swim through this maze, which the eggs can't go through, over towards this LED, which provides light and warmth. Once the 72 hours have elapsed and all the brine shrimp are collected over on this side, then the water will drain. All of these partitions are made of a mesh, so it's like a spaghetti strainer in which the shrimp that stay over here and all the water and eggs that drain out and go into the wastewater storage that I showed previously right here. And if you fill up each one of these compartments and fill up your storage tanks, then you should have enough ingredients for 7 weeks worth of automatic brine shrimp hatchery. Once you've got your brine shrimp, then the brine shrimp are going to fall through that trapdoor and into the fish tank, and then the fish will feed on it for 3 days. there are different philosophies on fish feeding rates, but generally speaking, they don't need to be fed every single day if they're babies. So just to summarize, there is a growing need. Millennials and Gen Zers want to spend their money on enrichment and healthy food for their pets, and there is more automation happening in the aquarium hobby. So the automatic brine shrimp feeder is going to be the next big thing. Thank you.